I recently overheard a group of girls at a table talking about their marriages. One girl said, I can't afford to get divorced, so I guess I'll stick it out. Now, that is a belief many people have. They can't get divorced because it will leave them penniless. Well, that's actually not true. Not only are there different options to get divorced, but if you are going to get divorced, you can hire someone like Donna LaScala, who is the president of Comprehensive Divorce Solutions, a certified divorce financial analyst, and a collaborative financial neutral. It all starts with how to make smart financial decisions during and after a divorce so you can survive and thrive. Want to learn how to do it? Well, Donna is joining us right now to teach us. Donna, welcome.
Hi, Ilyssa. Thank you so much for having me back.
Well, thank you always for joining us. So, it all really starts with a budget. And my first question to you is going to be how should somebody create a budget during a divorce, especially when it comes time to hiring the team they're going to need to help them get to the finish line?
So it's very important to be realistic about your budget before, during, and after a divorce. I think that's where most people get tripped up. The category of miscellaneous really doesn't fly when you have to plan and you have to have clear expectations about what your situation is going to be. So putting together a budget really means sitting down, collecting information, and making clear, concise categories. What is your real overhead? What is your rent or mortgage? What are your utilities? How much money is going out on a monthly basis? Most people cannot tell you what that number is because they've never actually sat down and figured it out to the penny. So it's very important to do a spreadsheet if you can. Do a written, yellow pad if that's as much as you can do. But you've got to get it down. And there are a lot of online tools to help you create a budget. But that's also someone like me can do for someone going through a divorce as part of the service that I can provide to someone, faced with these issues.
One issue we are all facing right now is inflation, and everything is costing more than it normally does. So, how does a person who is going through a divorce not underestimate their expenses so they get caught short and wind up in debt?
Well, that is part of the being realistic. So I think there's really three words that I keep coming back to: realism, planning, and expectation. Because if you don't have those things present in your process, you're really going to get caught off guard. So you have to have realism in understanding what your expenses are, what your income is, and where the possible shortfall is. And even though it's a hard thing for all of us to do, this is really a time when you should not be extravagant and you should look for ways to cut back so that you don't wind up in debt, because the expectation that most people have is that this is going to go fast and I'm going to get the money that's coming to me and it's going to be immediate. And nothing could be further from the truth. So sitting down with your attorney, sitting down with your financial advisor if you have one, or finding one and hiring a certified divorce financial analyst or other forensic accountant, someone who can really sit with you and say, okay, here's the reality of the situation. Here's what your expenses are. Let's go down this list to the penny. This is your income. This is what's coming in. This is what's going out. Put the credit card away. It's not your friend right now. And those are very hard conversations to have.
Conversation that people need to keep having with somebody such as yourself is the importance of always updating that spreadsheet and that budget, because it's like you just said, when they sign the papers, there is going to be a lapse in time and a gap in time from when the money gets moved and transferred. So, why is it so important to constantly be working with someone such as yourself?
Well, first of all, there are some workarounds that can be employed in order to make the transition easier. What I mean by that is this. First of all, if you are going to be the person receiving spousal maintenance and child support, there are temporary orders that can be put into effect to get that money flowing before the divorce is actually final. So that is one thing that you need to be made aware of. Another thing is there are differences between the assets that are going to be divided and how they actually get divided. So a house is one thing. A bank account is another thing. A brokerage account with stocks and bonds is yet a third thing. A retirement account like a 401k or a 403b is yet another animal altogether. And a pension's out there on the reservation. And most people don't understand that there are different ways to divide and calculate each of those things and what it entails. So certain things move faster. Retirement accounts and pensions move very slowly because they need what's called a qualified domestic relations order, QDRO, QDRO. And a lot of times it does not actually come into play until months after your divorce is final because it needs to be signed off by the court. And then it needs to be sent to where the money is physically located. And then they need to distribute it to the person it's going to. So you think, okay, I'm signing this document, my divorce is final, I have my decree, and my money is going to be in my bank account tomorrow. That may not necessarily be the case. However, there are some ways to work around that, and that's why it's very important to have someone like myself, someone who knows the divorce system but also knows the money system. So having someone like me in your corner, I can explain those things and how it works and how to move around it.
Let's talk after the divorce. And again, I want to keep sticking to the word budget. Why is it so important to sit down and create a budget to figure out what you owe and how to make those payments in a timely manner?
Well, the worst thing you want to do is get behind in any payments because that has a immediate negative effect on your credit rating. So you want to make sure that you have the ability to keep up with the things that you are obligated to pay. So having that spreadsheet, having that budget, and having it be a fluid document so that you're constantly updating it is extremely important so that you don't find yourself behind because you really don't want to be in that kind of a position because it becomes a snowball effect. So
last question.
A working document is very important.
Last question, because I know we're running out of time. Is it possible to get on payment programs? And if so, can that hurt your credit?
It is possible to get onto payment programs with credit cards and things like that, but you have to be very, very careful who you're signing up with because there are certain programs that actually do cause a bigger problem than you started out with. So you have to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And sometimes it's just a matter of calling up the credit card and saying, look, I'm going through this situation right now. Is there something I can do? Can you help me out? It's a temporary thing. And they will work with you.
Well, for people who want to work with you, how do they find you?
So the easiest way to find me, my office number is 516-218-6919. And I'm here and I'm ready to help.
Well, Donna, your credentials are so impressive. And if you need a certified divorce financial analyst and a collaborative neutral to help you survive and thrive, I can't recommend Donna more. She always gives me the best advice and all you guys.
Thank you
Donna,
so much.
Thanks so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
At Comprehensive Divorce Solutions, Donna LaScala provides the tools for people to deal with assets, debts, equitable distribution, and retirement in divorce negotiations. We hold your hand during and after the divorce process, providing a roadmap of what happens next and into the future. Divorce is difficult whether you're initiating it or not. It's fraught with emotion. When you deal with emotions, you are not dealing with logic, making it more difficult to decide what to do with your money. Hiring a professional to assist you in walking down the money path is crucial to avoiding potentially costly mistakes. Donna's goal is to make sure that each individual knows how they are going to be able to survive and thrive during and after divorce. As a CDFA trained mediator and collaborative financial neutral, Donna helps people get unstuck and move forward towards their post-divorce future. Call Donna LaScala at 516-218-6919, 516-218-6919.